Welcome to You Never Know with Lois and Diane, except Diane's missing in action this week. But
so you get Danita.
Yes, yeah, You Never Know with Lois and Danita.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's got a certain ring to it. I like it.
Still a D.
Yeah. So for the folks at home that don't know Danita Bowman Todd, she's a good friend of mine. Your husband and my husband, Ron and Creighton, are good friends with the Shrine.
Yes.
And we've become great friends too once you moved around the corner.
I know.
Yes.
Through the Shrine, like we met at the Shriners.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Great organization there.
Yes, it is.
Yes. So you were very gracious enough to come and help us out today. And they were like, you need a co-star and our co-host. And I'm like, who do I know that would be perfect? And you are perfect. So.
Oh, thank you. Well, I've been on at the Christmas one. It was nice to see you and Diane.
Yes.
So it was nice to see how it all ran kind of that way. So
yes. And this is a special week too, because we're doing the Chocolate Lovers Society, which we're both members of and founding members, I might add. So we've got some really interesting, well, it's an interesting topic today, and it's a very sad one, but we'll get to that a little later.
But the Chocolate Lovers, you're the one that instigated bringing it forward, which was wonderful.
Yes.
Because we had helped at something else. But you're always into wanting to help the community and anything you can do. So starting
as long
the
as
Chocolate
there's
Lovers,
a party, then
yes, our planning meetings are quite nice. But you have always been one to always want to give back. So.
Yes, and yourself as well. So today we have Nancy coming back, Nancy Lloyd or Smith. She has been on our show a few times. She does a lot of our, Easter decorating.
Very crafty.
Very crafty, and she's also a member of the Chocolate Lovers. So she's going to come on and talk about some different ideas that we have coming up for the next event and what we've done in the past. So,
exactly. No, it's going to be great to have her on here.
Yeah, so we'll be back in a few minutes with Nancy. Welcome back, and we have Nancy with us again.
Hello.
So you're just great to come whenever we need someone. You're like, I'm in. So thank you.
Well, it's a good reason to be here.
Yes. Today is extra special because we're talking about our Chocolate Lovers Committee.
Yes, and how great we are. How much fun we have.
There's just not enough time to talk about.
I know. We won't tell them what some of our antics are about.
No. But it's all for a good cause, that's for sure.
We get work done finally.
Yeah.
It takes a process.
A little bit of time.
So I think the first fundraiser you were a part of was the one for the Shriners, right?
Yes.
And we had so much fun that night.
Didn't we?
Oh, yes. So we had hired a hypnotist comedian to come. And Creighton had hired him before for another fundraiser. So I knew this guy was really good. Boris.
And he was a riot.
Boris the entertainer.
Yeah.
Well, these two girls tried to go up with Creighton. Oh, there was a bunch of you.
Yes.
Diane, yes.
Of course, notorious Diane.
Yes, and not all went under.
No. I just about got there till Creighton stood up and walked away and got me out of it.
Right. Yeah. But we raised, I don't know how much that.
20 grand.
20,000.
20,000.
Yes. In one night.
And that went to the Shriners, who support the Children's Hospital in Montreal. And they do wonderful work. We have, I believe, 4 children in the catchment area.
Yes.
Of ours
For the Shriners.
And we were raising money for the transportation fund, I believe, to get these kids there, because we look after everything, right? The Shriners.
There's no cost to the parents at all.
No. George and Lloyd from the Shriners drive the kids down and their parents down to pick up the train and go to Montreal. And in Montreal, their accommodations are looked after. And
meals, everything.
Meals, And they do wonderful work. So that's what some of the money goes towards.
Yeah.
We've done the animal shelter.
Yes.
We've done that twice, haven't we?
Yes. So we usually pick a charity every year.
Right.
And decide what one we're going to do. and then decide how to do it.
Yes.
To do something different if we can try to change it up
Yes.
and that.
Yes,
So-
and then there's a part of that throughout the year. We'll do little mini
Yes,
things too
yes.
sometimes. So Sophie, another member of our committee, has the European bakery.
Right.
And she'll sell things in the bakery at Christmas.
And you
Cookie
too,
Lead
at
on
DC
that.
Taylor's.
Yes, and at DC
Yeah.
Taylor's as well. We do it as
We
well.
usually have a Christmas trees at both places, and it can be for a different charity, like we did the women's shelter.
Yeah.
This
And that,
Christmas.
this past
yes.
Christmas, and we've done the animal shelter other times, and
And that was great. You took a lead on that. So just tell the folks at home what we did with that money at Christmas, because I just think
Oh,
it's
yeah.
fabulous.
so Sophie and I, we took the money and we went shopping, and we were able to find out how many children were there at the women's shelter. That no names or anything, just the age and the sex, so that we could personally go out and buy things specifically
And their
for that
size.
child.
Yes.
So we were able to do that, and then we also got stuff for the mums, and then we were able to deliver them.
And what about the puppies?
Yeah.
Oh yes, and we do, and they do actually have animals that stay there now. So we found out if they had dogs, cats, and they did, and they had, I think they had some rats and stuff also. So we went out, and I got some stuff at the pet store for all the animals too. So then we were able to deliver those,
Yeah.
and we didn't get to meet, and we don't meet anybody. We just go drop it off,
Yeah.
and then
We might have a
But-
picture of that I'll try and find, but I went and, because I do so much wrapping at work, I
Right.
brought some wrapping paper to Sophie's, and we had a big wrapping
Yes.
party. And they looked fantastic, all those gifts. Like,
well, you're a great rapper. I would put stuff in, but I'm not a rapper, so I left that up
stick
to
them
you
in a
guys.
bag.
I left that up to you guys. So.
oh yeah, no, it was great.
But
I
no, it
love
was,
that
and
idea.
we got a wonderful letter back saying
Yes.
that the families very much appreciated it.
because they would not have gotten anything personal at Christmas,
No.
like, right? So
Yeah, and Sophie was great because she actually understood what young people like
Oh,
teenagers
yes.
and stuff would wear. I don't have children, so I've never,
Yeah.
and my nieces and nephews were all grown up.
Yeah,
so
and I think she took her daughter Rowan out.
one night too.
Yes.
Yeah, and then we went and
Yeah, we don't do just off the cuff. We really do think about what we're doing.
Oh, yes.
And who we're going to raise the funds for and what our organization. And you know, it's just a bunch of us women. We're doing it on our own.
yes,
And we're loving it. We have made such good friends.
yes, we have.
Yes, we have.
Yes, it's been great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
it's
love
a word,
it.
and we love. I know that we all have that in us, that we always want to contribute
Give.
something to our community and look after our community. So I think
Yes.
that's something that
And the
we all
next-
have in common.
We should do a shout out to the girls that aren't here.
Yes.
Yes,
For our
definitely.
committee.
So I better not forget anybody. You can name
Good
them.
luck.
Oh, I can name them.
Belinda.
Belinda, Sophie, Lisa, Diane's not here
Diane.
today, and then there's you, myself,
Joy.
Joy.
Joanne.
Joanne,
Yes. Joy has stepped back.
Yeah.
She
Oh,
has
just-
she?
Yeah.
Okay.
and because I think there was 8 of us.
So we do pretty well when you think 8 women with
Yeah, and we
No
don't kill each
agenda.
other, and it's not like the Housewives at all.
no. And we do enjoy doing it. We love helping the community.
So Sophie came to us before Christmas, I believe, or was it last fall, and said she wanted to do this. She wanted to nominate the Webster family
Yes.
as
Yes.
the
Yes.
foundation, which is a very tragic story, and we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Maybe with
We'll
the
talk to the
Websters when they
parents.
come.
Yeah.
They're lovely people, aren't
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
and
they?
she.
And what they've gone through, and they're just so stoic.
Yeah, yeah, and they're trying to do something in their local community that I feel we can really help them
Yeah,
with
and
that,
they're
so-
giving back for
Yes.
having lost their own.
Yeah.
Right.
It's so, and we're going to come up with other places and other things
Yeah,
to
everybody
do.
can just,
right.
like, anybody on the committee can bring forward charity, and then we discuss it and see which one we want to do, or which one
Yeah, we
goes
vote,
with all of us, and we vote.
sort of. Who has the best argument?
Yeah.
And having said that, to circle back to the Webster family, we are going to be selling tulips
Yes.
at European Bakery and at DC Taylor's. And I think the tulips might be available right now.
I know Sophie was talking about she was already
Ordered them.
had ordered them, and I thought she would put them out already.
Oh, good.
Oh, she could have. Yes, she was
But
to drop
she
them off.
went away, so I'm not sure.
And we have our social media page as well that people can follow and contact us through that.
Yeah.
Yes.
More and more, whatever we do, we're putting back into the community.
Oh, yes.
And that's the important thing of it all.
Yeah, all the money we raise goes right to that charity. It's not.
Yes, we don't
like-
take anything.
No.
Now, we
No.
do have a yard sale
Right.
of all our leftovers and whatever.
Well, we had a yard sale last year that was
Yes.
very successful.
And that raised money to help us have a little
Yeah.
cushion.
Yes, yes. And then on my birthday party, if anyone didn't know what to get me, I didn't need anything anyways, but
You
can
don't?
you can donate to the Chocolate Lovers, and so we
Yeah.
it was
so
great.
Yeah.
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 It was nice having a little bit so we could.
Yes,
Do
instead
stuff.
of it coming out of our pockets for
Yes.
20 years now,
Yeah.
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 right? This has started with
Quite a while ago.
Mrs. Jackson,
With the VON, actually.
Yeah.
was it?
Yeah, the VON, and she was part of the Chocolate Lovers. It was one event a year. It was the Chocolate Lovers Dinner.
Okay.
And I was asked to be on that committee. That's about 20 years ago. I was into it maybe a year or two, and I'm like,
I
Danita,
joined.
you got to help me out here. So yeah, we
And I
can
could
go-
never say no to Lois.
I don't think you can say no to her.
I know, I don't think so.
Yeah. So thank you for coming on today. And
Oh, you're very welcome. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you.
Always good to
great.
have you.
Yes.
It's always fun.
So next up, we'll have the Websters here, and stay tuned.
And we'll see you at the next meeting.
You bet.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Ani, I'm Carolyn King, and I'm a member of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation and the creator of the Moccasin Identifier. Philip Cote, an artist in Toronto here, took and redrew real moccasins. We're starting over with the children. The idea is that they would research whose land their school is built on, near, or what treaty area they're in. And the educational kit that we have has all that information in there. And the children just, like, I love it. My dream is that this province will be covered with moccasin identifiers within the next decade, and they will forever know whose land they're on. That's the goal. Educate and awareness with a nice, simple little program called the Moccasin Identifier.
Public transit, garbage pickup, parks and recreation programs, snow removal on your street. How can you stay informed about these and other important local services? Tune to City Council coverage on Rogers TV. See your community leaders at work on Rogers TV City Council coverage.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm excited to introduce you to Dr. Todd Webster and Christy Webster. It's a really hard time for this discussion. Any time is hard, but we're doing a fundraiser in memory of your son. You might want to tell the folks at home what has gone on this past year for you, or the past 8 years, maybe.
Yeah.
Want to start?
Sure. So our son Jeffrey, at the age of 11, developed an eating disorder, anorexia nervosa, and it was a severe, enduring anorexia nervosa. And he went through a number of treatments, both locally and London, Toronto, Whitby, Denver, and CHEO in Ottawa. And unfortunately, it ended in him being palliated at the age of 17 last July, after we had exhausted all resources. So his dying wish, he had a month of palliation before he did die, was to have care closer to home. And it had sort of been on our radar to support a local eating disorder program and so that's what we've been working on. We established a community foundation prior to his death, a trust fund over at the Community Foundation of Grey Bruce, and the community's come forward, and we've been working on a proposal with hopes of a request for funding through provincial funds for an early intervention and assessment program here in
Because there's really nothing local.
It's 300 kilometers away you'll get anything like for a specialized eating disorder program.
Yeah, that's just something I didn't realize till we had talked earlier, that there really is no help for anybody local.
Yeah.
And it's just not right.
Yeah.
And it's not like an isolated incident. There's a lot of
It's
going on locally, right?
Well, I mean, it's such a relapsing type of disease, and it's there can be a genetic predisposition. There can be a number of triggers, I suppose, and really at the end of the day, we don't have a definitive reason as to why he developed an eating disorder. He was a child that loved food.
Right.
There is sometimes gender identity issues can be an issue, bullying can be an issue, but certainly in his situation that wasn't, and it got progressively worse over the years.
And he really wanted to be at home. Like, I mean, the thing that was so difficult was taking him away and leaving him in London,
that would be so hard as a
leaving him
parent.
at sick kids and, driving home without him. And we would try to visit and see him when we could. And at the end, he said, like, he did better when he had surrounded by his family and friends. He felt more motivated to work at dealing with his illness. And although we couldn't manage it because he was so sick, I think he could have done better if we could have been around him and his friends were around him to support him. And that's why we really want to try to be able to have more supports for other children in the region so they don't have to be isolated in a program away from their friends and family.
Yeah, that would be so hard for a child, especially like you said 11, 12, whatever, to be away from your family and to not have anything.
And like he still wanted to go to school, which we tried. I mean, COVID happened in that period of time as well. We also recognize you can't, there was need for a higher level of care a number of times with him, and hence the reason why he was in those programs. But I think what people don't realize is that eating disorders present differently for a lot of different people, and there's different types of eating disorders. So I think the stigma is that it's a white woman's disease, skinny white woman's disease,
right,
but
like a teenage
really
girl
it's
or-
not. It's more than that. So if we could start with helping people here in our community and staying as local as possible.
Yes.
Having connections with Keystone and having connections with our local pediatricians and psychiatrists, that would be a start.
Now, you had fabulous care here as well, right?
Yeah.
With the team that
Yeah.
he had.
Yeah, we had Dr. Dick, and our social worker was Jody Holden. And our hospital were phenomenal. They did make a lot of accommodations to meet his needs as best as they could here. However, there was a huge treatment team in the last couple of years affiliated with Sick Kids. So they all sort of strategized on a weekly basis to try to come up with next steps for him, and tried to keep him here or share the brunt of care with Sick Kids.
There's probably a huge educational thing that needs to be done for locally, especially, and probably because there isn't
Education and awareness,
Yes.
right?
even with
At the
probably the doctors
schools.
around here too. Like,
Yep.
is anybody specialized? There is nobody specialized in it, really, is there?
Me, no.
No, you. I know, but you actually have had
like
to.
Dr. Dick, he does do quite a bit of care for eating disorders. I would say locally there's a lot of education that can be done. I think it doesn't get picked up very often, and often, you know, the people that have an eating disorder don't want people to know they have it. Then the people that see it are like, oh gosh, it's a huge undertaking. It's very time consuming. And then they're lost because there's no local supports. So it's very tricky.
Is there anything in the education system about it? I'm trying to remember. Is it
In the school system?
Yeah. Like that even talks about it in health or anything? I didn't even know.
They're starting to move towards early educational initiatives with the school system.
Okay.
There's lots of online options. NEDIC, like the National Eating Disorder Information Center, they do have a lot of stuff that can be accessible to parents, to teachers, to people who think they may have an eating disorder. And I've been reaching out to a number of Ontario organizations. Some are funded all through fundraising. Some of it is provincial and some of it's private. And a lot of people have moved towards a virtual platform just with COVID. So it gives more options.
But the school system, I think, was one of the challenges in the Canada Health Food Guide and the school Healthy Children Education Program. For Jeffrey, he was an athletic kid. He was involved in competitive hockey, competitive swimming, and when he heard that, you know, he needed to eat more fruit and vegetables and less sugary foods, and well, to him that meant don't ever eat anything that might be bad for you, and only apples, and exercise. So he took it to a level that was an extreme level. He exercised. Unfortunately, in hindsight, we realized he had a Fitness Pal tracker. He tracked his calorie intake, and he would go to the gym and run on the treadmill till he burned the number of calories he had eaten in the day, not recognizing that you need a growing boy that's athletic needs a lot of calories to just grow and develop, right?
Exactly.
So I think we learned a lot sort of as we went through this diagnosis and through the first few years. And that's where I think there's more awareness and education on how we need to coaches
or in the school system they teach about nutritional labels, and he would say that was a bit of a trigger too, because some kids will read carbs, proteins, fats, but then when you start counting calories, you can't go to a restaurant or Tim's drive-through without everything indicating what the caloric count is.
That's right.
And we'd end up negotiating, okay, well, I'll have this, because he would know that he memorized the calorie content, I think, of every food at every fast food place. And unfortunately, the kid was really brilliant, and he would know exactly the calories of everything, and he would always argue for the one that was the lowest calories.
Well, because we all fought to get those labels done, right? So that we knew how much they were actually giving us. But then for somebody that does have anorexia, then
sadly,
and it's a control thing.
Yes.
Oh, I could control that.
Right?
Yeah.
I think sadly the people that need the labels ignore the labels.
Exactly. Oh yeah, right. That Big Mac. Yeah.
So what were some of the first signs, like for parents at home, like what would be something to look for?
Well, I think social media doesn't help. So that's a huge probably trigger for a lot of kids. For him, it was, as Todd was saying, starting to exercise a little bit more, and then starting to restrict how much or the types of foods he would take in. I did pick up on it very early, and at the time there was a loose sort of referral program for eating disorders, but then I ended up having to just trump the system because he was deteriorating so quickly. Like, and when I say deteriorating, like he probably lost 20 pounds in a 6-week period.
Wow.
And the mentation changes with that too, so their mood and their behavior changes. He was taking his lunch to school, and then we found out that, you know, he was taking stuff out of the lunch box, and his
It was kind of funny.
full.
We got a call about his locker was really stinking. And we went in and so we were letting his friends sit with him and have lunch, and they would always say he ate all his lunch. But he would leave half his sandwich or half of his lunch in his locker.
Oh, okay.
And then not clean it out. Like
and
a
didn't
typical
clean
boy.
it out. He was, yeah.
Or teenager.
So he didn't realize it. He would just hide it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a sickness, an illness, right? And
Yeah.
it's like any mental health, and his desire was to limit his food and exercise intensely, and body dysmorphia. He thought, even though he was really, really thin, he was, he thought
He was obese.
He was obese, and
Yeah.
it's.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then there's a bit of an exercise compulsion, and over time, when we were in programs, in London, for example, I sort of became the dietitian and would bring in foods, calorie-dense foods, when he was admitted there, because he was there for quite a long time. So muffins that I just put in butters and lots of fats, hidden fats, pastas with creams and butter. He was needing like 6,000-7,000 calories to gain any weight. And unfortunately, that was so much food that it rolled over into purging, which was just a huge other complication a couple years in.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was very challenging. And I mean, mental health, it's under the umbrella of mental health, eating disorders, but certainly like there was anxiety, depressive symptoms.
OCD.
OCD, yeah, perfectionism.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think it's probably going to be on the rise.
Oh, through like COVID, it
Yes.
went up. I don't have the stats at my fingertips right now, but like 165%. In the last 17 years, boys have gone up, because that's the other thing.
Yeah, people don't think
Don't
boys get
really,
it.
but it's gone up 423% in 17 years.
You seem to have the stats right on the
Well,
tip of your
that
tongue.
I wanted to, yeah.
Well, we're
Jeez,
almost
well.
out of time.
Okay.
But I do, I want to tell everyone about the fundraiser that we're doing to help you do
Yes,
your...
and we're so appreciative.
Yeah, so we're going to do a dance on April 19th at the Harmony Center.
Yes.
The Chocolate Lovers are taking this on, and
And the band is Rewired. That's going to be playing, so it's going to be.
it's going to be
And
called...
Christy and Todd are going to be there
Yep.
also. So please come out and support.
It's going to be called Tulips and Tequila.
Yeah.
And we would love to see everybody there. If you can't support us at the dance, you can always get in touch with one of the Chocolate Lovers, and we'll be sure to take your money or your donation, whatever you
Exactly.
have.
So again, that's April 19th at Harmony Center, $40 a ticket. And please come and support.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Well, yeah, thanks. We really appreciate this, and Jeffrey will be, so proud if we can.
Sorry, and we did forget that it's G-Man.
Oh, G-Man Cares is G-Man Cares Incorporated is the name of the organization.
Yes,
Yeah.
perfect.
Awesome. And we'll see you
G-Man
there.
was his nickname. So.
Aw.
Wonderful.
We will see you there.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Connect with us by visiting our website or email us at comments@rogerstv.com.
Everybody knows not to drink and drive, but some people still think it's okay to take drugs and drive. Police have the authority, the ability, and the tools to determine if drivers are impaired by legal or illegal drugs. And because drug-impaired drivers can pose just as great a risk as drunk drivers, they face the same penalties, like the loss of their driver's license, a criminal record, fines, and more. A message from the RCMP, the Canadian Association of Chiefs of Police, and Arrive Alive Drive Sober.
Hi, I'm Carol Merton. We All Belong, Voices of Lived Experiences is a Rogers TV program that tells about the